So let's go ahead and create a basic survey. So when I say basic, basically I just mean we're not going to put any bells and whistles on it. We're basically going to create it, put in the absolute required fields that need to be on there, put in a few questions, and then we'll go ahead and publish it, just so you can see how to get started. So if we're in the voice of the customer area, we're in the survey section. You can see there that there's a default survey template. We're going to ignore that for now, and we're just going to go ahead and get started and click on the new button to create a new survey. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a name. This will not be seen by anyone externally, so this is really just for your benefit. So I might say feedback survey. Okay. I might give it a description. So this is going to be used to ask for feedback from customers. Okay. Now, if we scroll down further, we can see the appearance there. We've got a theme, and we've got the one that's called default that sort of comes and is already installed. So if I go ahead and remove that, I can see there's my Walker Consulting theme that we created in a previous video. So I'm going to select that. And then in the logo, if I look up in the logo field, we can see there's that company logo that was added as well. So we're going to go ahead and add that. We've got some things that will be defaulted in, so we're going to show the progress bar by default. We're not going to show page numbers. Again, we'll look at that in another video. Okay. I am going to go ahead and add in a runtime title. So this is what will be seen at the very top when someone actually is looking at the survey in the top of the browser. So we'll just put in feedback survey. And there's all the information that we need so far. So I'm going to go ahead and save this so that it actually creates the survey. So there we've got our feedback survey. What you'll also notice if I scroll down, we've got invitation, link text, email snippet, and so on. Nothing's going to show up yet until we actually publish this. And then what will happen is we'll actually get a link that can be used to open up the survey. So if I go ahead and click on where it says survey at the top, usually within Dynamics 365, you're probably used to something like that actually showing you various forms, which essentially this is, but you're actually using this to go to different sections on the survey. So you can look at this all day long, but you can't actually put any questions in until you flip this and look at the designer section. So if we go ahead and change this, we're now looking at the actual survey designer itself. So you'll see there we've got a welcome section, we've got a page one, and then we've got a complete page. Okay. Now, I tend to put everything on one page just for surveys, just to make it a little bit easier to look at. I don't know about you, but if I'm ever taking a survey and I see page 1 of 10, I just think, oh, how long is this going to take? So to me, surveys and actually getting feedback from people, the shorter they are, the better, and more likely you're actually going to have people start a survey and go through and actually complete that survey. So what I can do is I can actually get rid of page 1. I don't want it. I have to have the first page and I have to have the last page, the complete. But if I click on page 1, you'll notice at the bottom, I've got a delete option, so a little rubbish bin or trash can. So if I click on that, it's saying you're about to delete a page. That's fine. I'm going to delete that, get rid of it. Now what you'll notice is, now that I'm on the complete page, notice that the rubbish bin icon is gone. And also it's not present if I'm on the welcome page. So just keep that in mind. You have to keep those two. But you don't have to keep that page 1 that gets set up for you by default. So there's a couple of different ways in which you can edit things. So we'll do what we call kind of inline editing to start with. So that's basically making a quick edit. So instead of it saying welcome here, I might say feedback requested. And then I can just click the save button. So I've quickly made that edit. So I've got another one up here. And I can just put something different in there, and then I'm going to save it. Now I've also got something here, basically some text. So this would be a little bit of information about what it is that I'm asking. So what's the purpose of the survey? And again, I've got that inline quick edit mode, or I can click the pencil. What that then does is it takes me to essentially what this is as a question. Even though we're not necessarily asking something, this is part of the question entity. So I'm going to put my welcome text in. So I'm going to say something just quick. Obviously, you put a bit more in there, but just for time's sake, I'm just going to put that in. So I'm going to save those changes so then we can see the update. And then I'm just going to use the X in the corner to close out that question to take me back to the survey. So there you can see already I've started to make some changes. Okay. So then the next thing we want to do is actually add on some questions. So you can see here, these are the parts of the survey that you could put on. So I'm going to hover my mouse and we can see there it says, add a question with a one-line input box for the answer. If I click on that, you can see I can then drag it over and you see where it shows a red line. If I release that, it will then drop that in for me. I can then use the inline editing to say first name or whatever it might be, or tell me your job title. And then save that. So that is then basically a single line text field. I've then got a long answer. So again, I can drag it and drop it over. And that is basically a multi-line text field. So that's going to be something that they can populate in there. So then you can see we've got other options. We've got all kinds of different questions that we'll look at in some other videos. But I can also do a file upload. So I can say whatever it might be. Response type is a file, and then it's basically just asking, do we want the question first and then the answer below. So there's a few fields there. So I'm going to go ahead and again I'll save that, close out of the question and go back to the survey, and there we can see now the option that will allow them to choose the file, browse out and upload it. Now if I go to the complete page, what I typically would use this for is just kind of a thank you message to let them know that it's done. So instead of complete, I'm going to say thank you. And then in here, I'm going to say the survey is now complete. Basically direct them and say it's done, so they're not sitting looking at an empty screen. So that's it. Again, very basic, very simple to start with, but the last thing we have is we've got a publish button at the top here. So if I go ahead and click on the publish button, it might take a minute or two, but what that's going to do is it's going to publish it and upload it to the service that we're using to actually allow people to look at surveys. So that's basically a Microsoft server that's going to be used. So we can see there it says publish to server. To actually get the link for that survey, if I go back from designer and click on survey instead, if I scroll down, in the invitation section, we have an anonymous link. If I click on that, that will open up in a new browser, and there we can see the survey that we've just created. Now, don't worry about what it looks like visually at the moment. I'll be able to show you in another video how you can actually make more changes to the theme. But this will basically allow you to then look at that survey and actually fill it out as well if you wanted to. So that's it. That's how to create a very basic survey, how to add questions to that survey and then publish it. And we'll do more in further videos. You'll be able to find out more about all of the different sections where you can add in other requirements and so on.